Hey guys, welcome back to Mo's Game Table. Today we're going to take a look inside Pendragon, the Fall of Roman Britain. It is designed by Mark Gouyon-Rety. It is volume 8 in the coin series. And for those who are not familiar with the coin series, it stands for counterinsurgency. And this is one of the biggest sellers for GMT. And it's pretty obvious being that it's a series that has run 8 games so far, with 3 more that I'm aware of currently in development, probably more in the pipeline. But the other 3 that are in development are Gandhi, the decolonialization of British India, People Power, the insurgency in the Philippines, and All Bridges Burning. These are 1 to 4 player games, all asymmetric powers. And the interesting thing is you can also play solitaire because of the bot system that's been designed, a very clever bot system that continues to be refined with each release. And as I said, these are 1 to 4 player games, but that did change up a little bit with Colonial Twilight when that was a 2-player game. And you know, a lot of people were thinking that, yeah, 2-player coin can't work. Well, it did, and it does it very well. And to change things up a little bit more, People Power and All Bridges Burning are going to be 1 to 3 player games. So you're going to have pretty much all player counts are going to be covered in the coin series from 1 to 4 players. This is a design initially from Volko Runka, who started off with Labyrinth, and then this was the next evolution, the coin series. And he's been involved in every game in the series and will continue to do so for the foreseeable future. But he's also got other irons in the fire. He's got Nevsky, which is coming out. That's going to be another new series. And then he's got Hunt for Blackbeard as well. But enough background on the coin series. Let's take a look at the back of the box. It says, Pendragon, the Fall of Roman Britain, is a board game about the fall of Roman Britain from the first large-scale raids of Irish, Pictish, and Saxon raiders on the island to the establishment of successor kingdoms, both Celtic and Germanic. It adapts GMT Games' lauded coin series game system about asymmetrical conflicts to depict late Roman warfare, including raiders, fortifications, and foederati, and boasts an evolving model of political, military, religious, and economic aspects to depict the mutations of 5th century Britain. In Pendragon, 1 to 4 players each take the roles of 1 or more factions in Britain: the post-Roman army in Britain seeking to maintain imperial order, the land-holding aristocracy of the Briton tribes aiming at recovering their independence while preserving their lands and wealth, the Germanic groups looking for new opportunities across the North Sea, and the non-Romanized Celtic peoples from across the Irish Sea or from the cold north eyeing the disintegrating provinces with appetite. There's a lot to read on the back of the box. I'm not going to go through it all, just wanted to read those 2 bits right there. But let's see where we rate on the complexity. Complexity is right in the middle of medium at 5, and the solitaire playability obviously is 9, which is very high. It's the highest you can go. Game components: 1 22 by 34 inch map, 320 wooden pieces, 83 playing cards, 1 full color counter sheet, rules booklet, play booklet, 9 faction player aid foldouts, 3 4-sided dice, 4 6-sided dice, and that's everything you get in the game. And the game scale is approximately 25 years per epic of 12 cards. And that pretty much covers the highlights of it. There's a quick look at the map and then some of the counters that are going to be in the game as well. But enough of this. Let's take a look inside the box and see what is in this. And I got to tell you, this thing's heavy. So you're getting a ton of game in this box. You always do with these coin games. So let's take that, put that aside. We've got some cards here. We've got the rules of play and playbook. We'll come back to those. We've got player aid cards here. Let's pull all these out. And we've got our counter sheet. We'll take a real quick look at these counters. We've got control counters and then population counters as well. And we've got all of the rest of your administrative counters that you're going to need for the game. Put those on the side. And we've got, this is the epic round. This walks you through what happens at the end of the epic, your end of round is what the epic is. And then on the back here, we've got the battles, how to run through the battles. These games are not traditional war games per se. They're war games, but they're what I call Euros. Basically, it's a mashup of Euro and war game with the historical theme and Euro feel to it. And it gives, it's the best of both worlds pretty much, and it's a great way to introduce a lot of Euro players to war games in a pretty comfortable environment there that they are already familiar with. We've got non-player guidelines, so this is when you're going to be playing using the bots. There's battle tactics, and can raid or assault, remove stronghold. So everything's covered there. Then you've got your 4-faction player aid. And we've got 4 of those. Non-player event instructions. Again, when you're going to be playing solitaire, you'll have this to refer to for how to handle the different events. And then on the back, it's some more of those. Then we've got, again, the NPC bots. How to handle those events. Those are the flow charts. Actually, for those who are not familiar, this is how the solitaire system works. You have a flow chart which definitely looks complex, and it's not simple, but it's not hard either. I just generally, when I played, I've messed around with the bots a little bit, but just because the way I play, I tend to just play all factions, because for me it's a way to learn all 4 factions, and it's also faster than actually having to refer to the bots. Although that, not like I said, I'm not saying the bots are bad. It's just, for me, it slows me down, and I prefer just to play the 4 factions. But one of these days, I keep saying it, I keep promising it and promising myself, I'm gonna really dig into the bot system. One of these days, I will do it. Just like one of these days, I will play all the games on my shelf. Haha. Hopefully I will, but let's go back to the rule book here for a second. It is a 37-page rule book, and it pretty much goes all the way up to page 20 is where you're going to cover your sequence of play, your epic rounds, and then the victory conditions. And then from 21 on, you're going to have your non-players, which is your AI, and then you're going to have the key terms index at 35. So it's 14 pages, 14, 15 pages of solitaire, and there's 20 pages of your base rules. If you have already played the coin system, you're going to, obviously, it's going to be easier to pick up than for those who have not. For those who have never played coin, one of the coolest things you're going to see here, and don't freak out, but one of the coolest things you're going to find in these games is the playbook. When I'm saying don't freak out, I'm saying don't freak out that it goes to page 70. What you're going to get is a ton of different great stuff in here. You're going to get the multiplayer example of play starting on page 2, and then it's going to go through the non-player orientation, how to handle your solitaire bots, victory descriptions. Then up to at 28, you're going to have the Pendragon Chronicles, event notes, designer notes, the solitaire notes, sources, gazetteer, and pronunciation guide. So this is chock full of a bunch of different stuff, but the best part about these playbooks is this example of play. It literally holds your hand through a game. Not a full game, but usually like an epic or maybe 2. It'll stack a deck for you. It'll tell you how to script your deck to play this, and then you'll follow through with each step of all the way through, and then it explains to you what it is you're doing and why these players are going to do that. And then it also points to the rules that you can reference, so you can learn as you're playing, and you're not trying to work your way just through the rule book and, okay, eventually I'll get to play it if I get myself through this rule book. No, you can actually hit the rules while you're playing and digest it that way. It's a great way of doing it. Now, some people will criticize the examples of play. The playbook is not being optimal. It's not. It's not meant to be optimal. It's meant to teach you the games, and the way to do that is to put you into different situations that teach you the base mechanics and how they work in the game. And it does that exceedingly well, in my opinion. And then we've got the rest of the example of play. Now we're into the epic rounds, so that way it teaches you how to score. And now you get into the non-players and flip through that. The Pendragon Chronicles, event notes, all the cards. It explains to you the events, gives you the history behind them or the intent behind them. And then Non-player design notes, the designer notes from the designer, obviously, and then the gazetteer, and then pronunciation guide. So that way you know how to spell, or I should say pronounce everything in the game, because some of these terms are obviously a little different, like dukes, ciuitates, which I don't know, most people say civitates or civitates, things like that, but extra little bonuses that teach you how to say all the names in the game. Now, let's take a look at what else we get. Got our manual, or not our manual, our board. We've got 2 decks of cards. Got a bag of dice with Roman numerals on it, obviously Fall of Rome, Fall of Rome and Britain. And then we've got a big bag of wood here with, I think it was 350 pieces it said. And then we've got our baggies. So we'll put this on the side and we'll take a look at this board. We'll get this open for, oh, that new board smell. So let's put these away. So we've got some room to open this up. Now this is going to be very stiff right now, obviously, because this is the first time it's being opened. Wow, this is way stiffer than every other board I've had. Okay, so let's see if I can back this out a little bit more. Nope, that's pretty much as far as I can show from here. So this is all of Britain broken down into different provinces, different regions or areas, however you want to call it. And then you have the different sections for your different factions to place their pieces down here, over there, and up top and to the left. So you can easily set up, you know exactly where to set yourself up if you're playing whichever faction. You just set up right in front of it. But beautiful artwork, as we expect from GMT and their matted maps or their paper maps. The coin series definitely has top-notch stuff. And we'll take a look at a couple of the pieces. Some forts, and we've got regular cubes. Got your big cylinders for scoring, and you've got your pawns for when you're doing your different actions as well that you'll have out there. But some pretty cool pieces here. Nice big chunky wood bits and embossed cylinders, which are really slick. But really love these big chunky wooden bits. They really make the game. The presentation is fantastic on the board, and really a lot of fun to play. We'll take a look at a couple of these. These are, see what's in this little bag here. These may be the epic cards, and they are. These are the epic cards. That's your scoring rounds, and then you have, see if I can open up one of these real quick, and we'll take a look at a couple of these cards, so you can get an idea of what they're going to look like. All right, we've got Arthur here. And for those who are not familiar with coin, I'm just going to give you a quick little explanation of these symbols at the top. These are the different factions, and a card is going to be laid out, and it's going to tell you which factions, what the faction order is, who's going to be eligible to go first, second, third, and fourth. And it all depends on where you are in the turn order, if you're eligible or not. If you're eligible and you're this faction here, the Dukes, you can go first. If you're ineligible, it's not gonna matter. Play will just move on to the next faction, and so on until we get to the 2 factions that can act. Then you have your choice of different things you want to do. Do you want to take actions? You want to do the event on the card, things like that. And it's sometimes the choices are very obvious. Sometimes they're not. Sometimes you're going to sit there and really, it's going to burn your brain a little bit as you think, if I do this, this can hurt me. But that's the thing. You have to weigh risk versus reward. And here's another card here we'll take a look at real quick. See if you can get a good look at that one. The art on them is very nice. they always come, these GMT games always come with very sturdy cards. I've always sleeved them, but you don't need to if you don't want to. But I like to sleeve my cards. I like to protect them. So, like I said, though, nice thick, sturdy cards. You can hear it. So, as always, great components and a lot of fun this game is going to be. I've heard nothing but good things about it, and I'm really looking forward to giving this a shot as soon as possible. But that is Pendragon, The Fall of Roman Britain from GMT Games, designed by Mark Gouyon-Rety, and it is Volume 8 in the Coin series. If you've not played Coin before, and this is the theme you're into, this would be a good start. Although, to be honest with you, those who have never played Coin, my strong recommendation, as is the recommendation of everybody, is to play Cuba Libre first. It is small, manageable, very easy to get into. That would be the best entry point. Not saying this is not a good entry point. I'm just saying that would be the best because it's smaller, easier, faster, more manageable, and just easier to pick up. That, once you get that entry point in, then the rest of these games will fall in line. You'll be able to grok them a lot faster and then be able to enjoy 8 games in the Coin series. But that is Pendragon, Fall of Roman Britain. Thanks for tuning in, guys. If you've got any comments or questions, post them below. Thanks for tuning in, guys. See you next time.